The question is this one. Are we really thinking radically enough? Are the proposals that we are doing sufficiently strong in relation to the problem that we are to face? In any case, to talk about reduction, the first problem is how much we have to reduce. It's not such a good word. It's a word that sounds negative. And so maybe one of the issues that can be developed here is how to talk about reduction with not such a negative feeling that we have with this word. The factor 20 means that we have to imagine how we are living today with this kind of utilization of matter and energy, and imagine to live in a situation in which we utilize 20 times less energy and matter. Are we able to imagine a situation in which this kind of reduction can be appreciated as a good way of living?
I don't think the survival is the quantitative time problem. I think the survival is a qualitative problem. If we survive only for one day, but in the complete satisfaction, it is okay. It is okay. I think we are now discovering that the real question of ecology is the quality problem, quality of life, not the quantitative question of how many years we can survive or how many energy we can consume, but this real satisfaction of our life itself.
We did the calculation of about how many objects we have at home now. And the one guy yesterday night that lives in this area, he did the calculation. He couldn't do so much because only counting the kitchen objects, you have 750 objects. More practical way, I would say, for example, that there's people working with the idea of making environment much easier, personalizable in a way that even with mobility, people doesn't have to bring around and to throw away everything that he has every time. And for this reason, people is working with textile.
I'm afraid that we arrived to the conclusion that is very far from the happiness of human beings.
There's a lot of products which we don't need, but the big question is how to change the people to go into still consuming or giving pleasure through objects, but reduce all the production, all the amount of objects. That's the kind of hard equations. And the very important thing is to keep on pleasures, needs and quality. So what we try to define here is try to think about what will be the quality of the object tomorrow.
Maybe we can imagine a situation in which we don't have any product, we utilize only services, but we have few fantastic, rich, durable, amiable, lovable products that we care for them and that we keep them for all our life.
During this period, there was also a massive increase in information made available through multimedia networks. And this allowed people to satisfy their needs by sharing services and products. Vehicles, equipment and buildings were shared to reduce the quantity of resources consumed. Simultaneously, the networks allowed the substitution of services for products.
Our network of Tupperware ladies has now become our board of directors. We are building a holistic network to provide positive change in human behavior. We're providing information and workshops that help people live in a more ecologically sound way. High-tech or low-tech, our educational materials engage your continuing interest in matters environmental.
Hey, do you know that all producers have to deliver all information to the cyberspace infonet?
Yes, I know, but I don't trust in the information of the producers.
Ah, but you can get it from independent agencies now.
Really? But how does it work?
You just slide your finger phone over the barcode and you instantly connect it to the infonet.
And this works? So I'll try it. Give me the O2 Global Network. What about the matches? Are they okay? Okay. Oh, really? Ah, I see. Okay. Fine, it's working.
It's cool.
Well, we think that we can incorporate change through service industry. So repairing things or bringing garments back into being recycled and reprocessed so that a jacket in its next life becomes a sweater or something like that. And then also durability is a factor. There is an underlying factor of that. But we do have some life cycle analysis people in the group, and anyone who's sort of worked on that sort of realise that the care of the garment takes a lot of energy afterwards. And so there's definitely a need for education from the new company to educate the customer about how to care for their garment and how to wash it and what to do and what not to do. And to a certain extent, maybe durability is a disadvantage in that case if that's the area that the most energy is used, you know. So I don't know that we've got a statement that totally resolves that, but we're definitely thinking about that type of thing. A couple of people are working on the attitudes and writing down the attitudes now of customers and society and companies, and then how they're going to see that attitude shift past the year 2000. And then one group was working on a new company structure and how it might work in the systems that might be placed in the interchanges that might go on with local partnerships and so on with other industries.
On the 5th floor, you see the Virgin collection. It's coming out once a year. And when people bring it back to transform or to color or to exchange or whatever for service, then you come to the 4th floor. There's the lease and exchange department. It's the service department. If it comes back again and it has to be really transformed into other pieces of garment, then you come to the 3rd floor and it's called transformation. And one step later is the taking in of what's left and recycle it.
You can try to develop not only a selling but kind of services systems where you can propose object but you can take it back, so you can reuse part of it, refix it easier. So there is a lot of kind of thinking.
So the idea is to pull out of that centralised system and think a little bit more about how things are made and try and make them more local. And with that comes a sense of community and building a business within a community and developing the skills and working with the resources of the community.
generally human beings, forgetting that there are so many diversities in human beings, richness, poverty, and ethnological problem, ideological differences, and geographical differences, cultural differences. So we cannot generalize the sustainability.
Local needs are met by services designed and delivered locally. Your ideas are important to us as we strive to evolve into a more holistic business. We can help each other and help the world. So complete is the change in our old top-down structure of the organization that it has become global. We're thinking global and acting locally. We're decentralized. The benefits are enormous, and we look forward to helping deliver a sustainable future using food as our medium, as it truly is a lifetime guarantee.
One of the things we're trying to do is to be able to, at the end of this, go back to the Tupperware company and present our ideas in a way which will be attractive to them and will actually motivate them to want to examine some of them because they think they're good business ideas too. Companies are always very willing to think about ways of preserving and protecting and reinventing their businesses because they've often had to do that in the past in response to changing circumstances. They're actually looking for help with how to do that, and designers often perhaps are too conservative themselves with what they think companies will be willing to accept.
They had closed all the airports around the world and converted them into community-owned virtual meeting centres. All the land which had been used for runways was converted into solar and wind energy farms.
The best way to change is obvious, is to change because we choose to change. And choose to change is a way to change because culturally we appreciate a new way of living, a new style of life, etc., etc. And I think that in this link between business and needs, social needs and vision and economy, the designer can play a double role. A role is to push day by day on the product to be a little bit better, also redesigning little things that can be a little bit more friendly for the environment, but at the same time helping the society to produce this kind of vision. One image that gives the idea of a different way of living, a different social quality, than all the words that I am utilizing now. And if I am obliged to speak so much, it's because at the moment I don't have images. I don't have any real image that in some way is able to capture the deep meaning of what we are trying to develop here. And so I want to stress this aspect because often I find people that think that once that we have discovered all these kind of problems, all our aesthetical sensibility has to be put apart. It's a luxury good. Now we have to think to very strong, important things, and so aesthetic is not important. So please try to maintain very strongly in your hands the aesthetical component of our work, in the being convinced that this is the specificity of the designers, and that is a very, very important role.
I think we are going to put a stone into the water, and the waves come out of it, and it will affect all the members and participants' thoughts.
Thank you. Perfect. Excellent.